I am going to be fighting for women. I'm meeting with someone pretty soon to go over nonprofit stuff. Um, I'm putting together a resource hub for women. When we talk about killing a baby, and I appreciate people's comments, give me the intake, give me the input so we can solve this together. She said, don't talk about the killing baby crap because, you would be fine with it if it was the military doing this. I actually feel undeserved wars should not be happening. Yes, we do have to fight for our country. We do. And there's no reason why we can't. We should protect women and babies. And we should do everything we can not to go to war. But if we have to go to war, then we have to, right? But to justify that and say, okay, it's okay to kill babies just because I don't want a baby, it's just a pain to me, they're brats, uh, whatever. That doesn't justify it. So let's look for a minute, and I do appreciate this person being straight out with me, but let's look for a minute at what happens if you don't have your baby, if you do have an abortion. It is starting to be documented. The post-traumatic stress is real. It's something you got to live with. It's something that doesn't heal overnight. It is something that takes time. You have to have time to process. You have to have time to be like, wait a minute, why did this person feel that it's okay to tell me that, to introduce abortion? Why did I have an aunt introducing that word? Why did I have a mother who brought me there? Why did my father not protect me? Why did, he protected me in his own way. That was his way of protecting me. Why did my boyfriend not stand up for me? Why did this happen? Why did the doctor not tell me what was going to happen? On and on and on. And then to have that helplessness to feel like, it's natural as a mother to protect your kids, right? You're like, be safe when you drive. Look out for cars when they're little. Watch out when you cross the street. Let me hold your hand. Don't go with strangers. We are constantly protecting our children as mothers, right? Constantly. Why do we think that it's not okay to protect our children when they're in the womb, right? We naturally, when we come to the truth, and I shared this on live action last night, my testimony, but when I was pregnant, and yes, I have a little stomach still from having 5 kids, and I'm working on it, but why did I not, why did I not protect my kid? That is one thing when a woman comes out of the lies of abortion or understanding the truth, there's a strength there. There's like a, ugh, I should have protected my kid. I should have done this. I should have done that. And you're like, I was totally helpless. I was totally helpless. I didn't know. I didn't know they were doing this. And then the anger comes and it's like, freaking A. That was a child. That was my son. I lost her, my daughter. I always tend to feel like that was probably a girl because I have 5 sons. I think it was probably a girl. I'm like, freaking A. That was a kid. That was a child. And the more you see the truth, the more it's like heartbreaking. It's like, I should have done this. I should have done that. I should have, and so you beat yourself up and you got a bunch of guilt and you're like, why didn't I know? Why didn't I, and that you did the best that you did. I mean, you trusted the adults, right? What could you have done? You trusted them. You thought that you were doing the right thing by trusting adults. And it is heartbreaking, ladies. And then when you have kids, oh my goodness. So when I had my firstborn son and he was kicking, I'm like, why is he kicking now? I don't even look fat. And fat is the teenager view of usually being pregnant, right? And you're in a culture where it's not okay to look a certain way and you're like, now I'm pregnant, why I don't look fat? He's kicking already? Like, what do you mean? Let me look up child development. Oh my goodness, that was a baby, right? That wasn't a blob of tissue. So you're dealing with this and you're pregnant and you're feeling him kick and you're like, oh my goodness, what if that baby would have kicked? What if I would have been pregnant? What if? You're dealing with all the what ifs. And you beat yourself up. And this is why I don't feel like women should go to jail. The natural consequence of abortion is enough of a punishment for a woman. It really is. And so then you have your baby and you don't know what you're doing, right? I was in the hospital. I didn't know what I was doing. And I heard all these horror stories. And so the doctors are like, oh, she needs Pitocin. Oh, her placenta's starting to separate. Hook her up to the monitor. You know, I didn't need all that. Hook her up. Have her push. Let's use the forceps. You know, he was just not ready. And I didn't have enough child development under my belt going through post-traumatic stress to really understand birth completely, even though I took Lamaze classes. So I didn't know what I didn't know. And you do the best you do and don't beat yourself up because God does forgive. It's not the all-out sin. But it is disgusting that we sacrifice babies. It is that our society does this. And I blame doctors more than I do anyone because they go to school and they learn this, right? They probably know more than lawmakers. So it is heartbreaking. And then after that, you've got, okay, so you know, how do I mother? A lot of women don't know how to mother. They're like, I had a lot of distance with my mother. She didn't really talk about having me. She was knocked out in the hospital. She didn't really talk about stuff. She had stuff going on with my grandmother. How could she have had time to teach me how to take care of kids? She had a rough life. She was lucky. I was lucky that I was born. I was lucky my brother was born, right? There was so much going on. So you're like, how do I mother? Okay, where is a good path? What do I do? My first path was I got invited to church and I'm like, yeah, okay, I know I want something better for my kids. My family came from the projects and they had a really rough life, but they also had a lot of good and you don't hear about that. Yes, there was hardship, but my Uncle Bill would be like, oh yeah, we used to have fun in the street kicking the can in the road, and we used to do this, and you know, my mom would be like, the paddy wagons came a lot, but they had each other. They had each other, okay? Hardship is okay. It's all right. You're going to make it. You are going to live. It's not the end of the world. And I can tell you from going through situations here with not having a lot of money and reaching out and asking for help, I'm like, why didn't I do this more before? I mean, we were fine. We had enough help and we were fine. I homeschooled all my kids and I loved them to death and I loved my kids very, very much. And having kids gave me so much in life, gave me so much. I would not trade it for the world. So you have the difference of having kids and feeling like a queen because you love kids and you learn to love them. They make you laugh. They crack you up. I was thinking the other day, my son's birthday, I was making, my son made mashed potatoes and chicken. And I went to go get the potatoes. And I'm like, okay, they're a little dry. My son's voice still is in my head. Make them creamy, Mom. Make the potatoes creamy. I'm not the best cook, but we're, cooking for kids. I had to learn how to cook better. My dad was like, if you don't know how to cook, you're in trouble. I never wanted to learn how to cook. So I had to learn how to cook. I had to learn how to clean. I didn't clean much growing up. I was out with my friends. I had to help my mom, do errands and clean for my great-grandmother a little bit. See, I'm behind on the dishes. So I didn't have to clean a whole lot. I was out with people. I was always out with my aunts and uncles having fun. If I did not have my aunt and uncles, my cool aunt who wore the cool, flowered pants, jeans, and Sears catalogs, or buying me stuff and, getting socialized and, having my uncles around me and everything, where would I be? Like, it's a wonderful life. So we don't want to choose abortion. And I will speak that loud and clear. The consequences are huge. I used to run a vacuum and I'm like, why am I having flashbacks of the abortion? It was never processed. I used to hear in the back of my head sometimes, I'm like, did I just hear a child or was that me, right? I'd go to the pool and I'd see a woman with babies and my regret of my abortion would come out. So that was an abortion that was done real fast. That was done super fast. If I would have actually maybe thought about it more or had time to think about what an abortion was, maybe I would have went under more. I don't know. But the gracious thing about it was fast, it was done, it was over. And that was the goal. So, on the other side of that, I didn't have time to process any of it until later. So we want to help women, guys, and this is why I am headed out pretty soon to meet somebody to get my nonprofit going. And yes, it will be resources. Helping ones with rent, not enough. And this person's absolutely right that there needs to be more help. There needs to be more help. I've had to go from one church to another because churches are like, oh, we don't really know you. What's that got to do with it? You got someone asking for help. Oh, well, this is our process. Oh, we don't have a process in place. Well, we can help with 2 bags of groceries. Let me see if that works for me. How far away are you? What are you giving? You're only giving like 1 meal for the whole week? So this is where my heart is, guys. I want to help women with everything. Take Medicaid. If we're using Medicaid for abortion, take Medicaid to have your children. I used Medicaid for 2 home births. The first one we had to pay for, which was super cheap. Take everything, ladies, because you do not need to be in survival mode while trying to raise your kids. And I certainly had to budget when I was married, and that was normal. That's part of the home, right? But many times I had to go outside of that budget in order to, provide food pantries and everything, especially during the teen years. And it can add a stress, but yet it also can make you stronger to be like, hey, this is what we need, and to see the way God provides. I had an electric company contact me and say, we have stuff for you over here. We want to bless you for Christmas. Watch how God blesses you. Let your kids see that God takes care of you. Let them see, but you got to keep asking. You got to work at it. Call churches. When you get a lot of rejection, call them again and be like, hey, you're pro-life, aren't you? If you're pro-life, then why don't you want to help moms? I mean, I've fought on that level, guys, for women. You want to preach it, don't you? But you don't want to help? How does that work? Preach it, guys. Push it and say, hey, this is my situation. I don't just need help with rent. I need help with insurance. I need help with storage. I need help with this. I need help with clothes. I need help with a gift card. I need help with gas. Push it, because the church should be the place that people can get help. If any place in the world, it should be the church, guys.